My favorite part about UD, right, is like, let's just say we go to New York, and because, you know, they talk about LeBron and them were the Heatles. We were the original Heatles. So let's just say I go to New York and partying a little too much. UD can tell in the first 3 minutes if I'm ready or not.
I can.
Right? So like if I'm he'd be like, don't throw the ball to that motherfucker, he ain't ready. Don't throw the ball to that motherfucker, he out there bullshitting, coach. And I'll be like, no, come on, big fella, we need this game, you out there bullshitting. And so like I would like UD would keep everybody in check.
But he responded though, bro. It was I challenged him out of eye communication. I wasn't mumbling with my head down, walking to the end of the bench, talking about him behind his back. Man-to-man communication. Hey, big fella, we need you tonight. Now come on with that, dog.
Yeah.
Come on with that, dog.
And I'd be like, all right, just let me get some water right quick, because hey, we used to be out.
Let me get some water right
quick.
Listen. Yeah,
I'm the first guy. I'm the first guy to convince Pat to break his waist. Because when we first got here, we were winning and playing well, but listen, we going to stay out.
Yeah.
So Pat came to us one day, we going to give you guys curfew, and if you break curfew, $1,000. I went in his office with a check for $41,000.
Yeah.
I said, I did. I said, 1,000 times 41 home games, I'm a grown man. That's just not going to happen. I said, I don't drink. So, but the other guys, I said, Pat, okay, the other guys are drinking, we going to go out. Just move practice back to 12. What? I said, Pat, for me. So now if you go out at 3, get into bed at 4, you still get, because listen, you know as athletes, we only need 3 or 4 hours, right? But a lot of guys 1942ing and patroning, and they get in at 3 and then want to show up at 8. Our practices used to be up.
Man.
So I said, Pat, move that back to 12. So then Pat was like, well, if you do it, you better show me something. That's when we went on that streak.
Yeah.
That legendary streak. But then after the streak was broken, he went back to the 8 o'clock. But
I mean, one thing you did do when we used to go out, you made sure we come together and we all leave together. Like everybody leaving at the same time. We ain't no stragglers. We ain't leaving nobody behind. We all leaving this. It's time to go. Let's get the f out of here.
Because my thing, though, as the catalyst, not drinking, I could start us off. See what I'm saying? I don't drink. I'm taking no drink. So, like, in the game, I can, especially, like, if they not ready, now I know I got to be ready to keep it close. And now after they sweat some of that, now I could be like, you did down to the basket.
Yeah.
He doubling. So, you know, that was our thing. But he definitely moved that thing back to 12 o'clock because, bro, we used to be out to 3, 4 at Mansion and Love and then try to wake up at 8. And, bro, our practice used to be sloppy.
I mean, this ain't the greatest example, but, I mean, when you talk about, like, leadership, and one thing I do know about the game of basketball is you just can't show up to practice at 8 o'clock and practice and then go home with your family and then do it the next day. You got to spend time with your guys off the basketball court. You got to build those relationships, man. You got to get to know the guy that's playing next to you. And it's always more important to you when you're playing next to a brother as opposed to somebody you just say, this a teammate I just see for a couple hours a day. So we was able to build that bond, and we were bonding. And then when we stepped on the basketball court, that was your man's. And you can have those personal eye-to-eye communication things, and it wasn't nobody tripping.
And when I'm doing my job at TNT talking about these players, I can care less how sensitive they are. Because, again, I think I have G14 classification.
Yeah.
I really do.
Speaking of TNT and talking about these players, what's your thoughts on the teams right now? Most importantly, a hot topic, this Bron and Bronny situation. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, then talk about TNT too. When you talk about Bronny
sure.
and TNT,
that sucks, by the way.
Yeah, that's that.
So I have to be a consummate professional. So we definitely have 1 year left, and they're working on some things. That's all I'm at liberty to say.
Okay, good.
Hey, so this last year you gonna get me on with you on the desk with you?
I promise.
With my finest suit, I'm gonna tell you.
I promise.
My finest.
So in a perfect world, I would love for us to stay together forever, but you know it's in the hands of the powers right now. So, but this last year is gonna be a phenomenal year. You know, Chuck gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy. It's gonna be fun, and hopefully this is not the last year.
Hey, listen, do me one favor, man.
I hope it's not the last year.
Hey, listen,
man.
do me one favor. Tell Chuck he got to stop with the street meats. He got to
street meat. And
he got to stop with the street meat, man.
I told him I
can't take it.
I said, Chuck, do you know what street meat means? No. I said, Chuck, street meat. I said, street meat ain't no good term. I ain't from the hood. I'm from Alabama. I said, street meat ain't no good term where I'm from, dog.
You got to stop with the street meat, man.
Charles is the funniest dude ever. So I'm looking forward to because
we talk about great players. You had to play. You played with Bron too. Like,
I know,
damn,
How
yeah.
the fuck we missed that?
Yeah,
but,
well, Bron was a guy I never had to say anything to.
Yeah.
I was so amazed at his leadership and how he played. And when I was with him, I wasn't the Shaq, but I was a good role player. We were first in our conference. Played Boston, Big Baby broke my hand. I got to leave for 6 weeks. Then I try to come back. I come back, I wasn't there. We lose to Boston. But, you know, these are things I think about when it comes to rings. Like, I should have 8 rings. Ooh. And I'm not talking about free throws right now. I'm just talking about messed up opportunity. We should have had 2.
But you see the obsession, how obsessed you got to be, because he ain't talking about the rings he got. He talking about how many he should have.
Yeah, so
like that's just that run through our minds is you obsessed, and you don't think about the ones you won. You think about the ones you didn't get.
I should have got 1 or 2 with Penny. Right? Me and Cole lost to Detroit. You should have got that one. When I first heard
We lost to Detroit.
We lost to Detroit. Should have got that one.
D-Wade ribs, she was fucked up.
Now I played with Bron. I should have got that one. And when I was with Boston, we could have got one up there too. So if everything would have went perfectly, I could have had 8 or 9 rings right now. I could have been like Robert Ory right now.